my darling friends. So happy to be here with y'all today. Happy Wednesday, because that's what today is. I had to remember for a minute, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to my little corner of Santa's workshop. If you are new here, my name is Sandra Waldrop, and you are watching Kingdom Acres Homemaking and Homestead. So my page name was just Kingdom Acres, and then I decided that that was just too vague. What is a Kingdom Acres? What do I have to offer you? So just to kind of help y'all out, I went ahead and updated my page name so that I am easier to find, locate, and understand what is going on in the world. Hello, as you come on in, tell me hi. Let me know where you're at, and let me know how cold or not cold it is where you are, because it is cold. But yes, again, welcome to my page. This is my segment on Craft Around the Clock. Good morning, Miss Tracy. If you are not in Craft Around the Clock, you definitely want to be in that group. It is free to be in there and be able to enjoy all of the presenters who are presenting throughout the day, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends we have presenters just kind of share their lives in. So it is just nonstop crafting, so much fun, and you will learn some amazing things from some wonderful, wonderful women. So today, or this week rather, I'm really trying to just get my tree to where I am happy with it for the season, right? Thank you, Miss Natalie. Utah, wow, I love Utah. My husband worked over there for a short period, so I got to be there for about a month, about 20 years ago. Anyways, I love Utah. So trying to get my tree to look exactly how I want it to, with all of my nostalgic pieces. I showed you some of my handmade pieces that my kids have made throughout the years. This little guy right here is 16 years old. My 20-year-old made him when he was 4. Isn't that sweet? But today I'm working on continuing the tin. So I made this little fella right here on Monday with the little cookies and everything. I got those all hot glued in place, and this is looking exactly how I want it to. And I just prop it into the tree just like that, and it sits on those branches. If you have a nice full tree that you can just wrap the branches around your little tree sitter, you're golden. You're golden for this craft. Good morning, Miss Irma and Anita. Good morning. So we are going to be making another one, but it's going to be more inspired by this actual vintage tin that I got from an antique mall. So, and I don't really know, some of the things in antique malls are vintage inspired, and some of them are actually vintage. I didn't do any homework on this. I saw it, I liked it, it was a reasonable price, so I bought it. Good morning, Miss Mary. So I'm going to be making another little tin that's closer to this style. I love the vintage pictures on it, the little characters, and I went on Etsy. I forgot to grab that page name. Anyways, it's Etsy. I can link the store that I purchased it from on Etsy, but it's a file of about 5 pages of all sorts of little vintage clip art like these. And I've just been sitting here this morning tearing out my little figures so that I don't have to spend quite so much time doing that part of it. So if you notice on this, and in this time period, there was a lot of those muted greens. And so this morning, I'm going to go ahead and use my Moss Waverly chalk paint. Good morning, Miss Diana. Diane. I'm horrible. My husband's the same way. We always add A's or drop A's on the ends of names. It's horrible. We're bad about that around here. Okay. I'm going to use my little foam brush here. I've got my bag of paintbrushes over here. I'm working in my little space today. My little area of Santa's workshop today. My moss chalk paint, for one reason or another, maybe it was old when I bought it, because this actually is not that old. It's just kind of thick. So I put a tiny, tiny bit of water in it, warm water in it this morning, just to kind of help it out. And I'm just going right over this tin can. This is another one of those tin cans from my hominy casserole. If you are interested in that recipe, I will be posting that today. I know several of you said on Monday that you are interested, and I will be posting that today. I've just had so much going on. My last live, I was running out of here to get my baby girl to her doctor's appointment. That was about 45 minutes away from us, and the ENT ended up scoping her, and oh my gosh, my poor baby girl. The cool thing is that I got to see the backside of her tongue, and if you've never seen that, that is the weirdest thing ever. The backside of your tongue looks very similar to the front of your tongue, except it's just like a mini tongue back there. It's so weird. Kind of like a surfboard sitting on a wave. That's literally, like, if I had to give a full description of how your tongue looks. I'm sure you guys really wanted to know that first thing in the morning, but I was just like, wow. I was like, this is why you became an ENT, right? Because this kind of stuff, like, really, I just made the ENT laugh. He was just laughing at me. I was like, wow, that is so cool. Because I am, I'm an herbalist, so I typically treat my family and myself with herbal remedies. Okay, as much as possible, we just use what the Lord has put on this earth to treat our ailments. And I've gone through just about everything I can do for my baby girl, and at some point you have to just throw in the towel and say, you know, we need more help than what I can give. So I took her in, and we looked, and she does in fact need surgery. Her adenoids are so swollen that the way the doctor described it and what I saw in the scope is that she has less than a coffee straw size room to breathe. So when she's sleeping at night trying to breathe through her nose, she cannot. She's having to mouth breathe, and she's stopping breathing several times a night, which I have heard. And so it's bad. She's only 10, and this started in June, so I've given it a solid go on my end with all of the things that I know to do. And I will continue to try right up until I can't anymore, but as of now, we are scheduled. I'm just hoping that something I do with her between now and then, when we go in for the pre-op, they'll say, she's all good. She doesn't actually need surgery. Good morning, Miss Sheila. So hopefully, any luck. All right. So I've got one layer of that green on there. I will need 2 layers, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a quick dry. How are y'all doing this morning? Are y'all all cozy in your jammies watching me? It is cold. It's not as cold as it has been, but it's cold. I had to get something from my car, and I ran out there with no jacket, and I thought to myself, this was not a good idea. Yes, Diane. So they are taking her tonsils and her adenoids. Her tonsils are taking up about 90% of the room in there. My earring just decided to fall right out of my ear. There we go. So it's her adenoids and her tonsils. They're taking them both. Everything. So if y'all could just keep her in your prayers. We're not excited about that at all. It's very cold in Alabama. I can imagine. We're right here on the Gulf, on the coast of Texas, and it is just cold. I'm cold. Drink my coffee to warm me up. Y'all, I've been up since about 4:15 this morning. All right, Miss Stephanie. Mushrooms are amazing. Many of them are like anti-tumoral, meaning that they're going to prevent tumor growth or even shrink depending on how dire the situation is. They have a huge impact on your immune system and everything, and I think that they are amazing. I love mushrooms. In fact, I have some plugs for lion's mane so that I can try to grow my own. We're gonna try. Hello, Miss Jackie. How are you? Thank you so much. It's 8? Holy cookies, Miss Diane. It is not 8 degrees in Indiana. That is crazy. Aw, thank you so much, Miss Natalie. Thank you, Miss Jackie. You know, it's hard on us mamas. I know that that's like, I don't want to be like, oh, poor me. It's not me that it's happening to. It's my daughter. But it does, you know, you want to make the right decision for your family. And so that's a lot of pressure for the mamas. And we hate to see our babies go through that. We hate to have all that. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right? Just got to keep on trucking. Thank you. So, but she's a sport. I don't have a heart to tell her that it's going to hurt. So I just keep telling her that she's going to get to have all of the popsicles and ice cream she can eat for a few days. And she's very excited about that. So, but so when she was about, I don't remember if it was 3 or 4, she wanted to get her ears pierced. And I told her everything, you know, about it. I said, it's going to hurt, it's probably going to bleed, etc., etc. And she was like, that's okay, I understand. And she made the informed decision. So I'm kind of having a little bit of a moral dilemma here because I don't want to scare her. I absolutely do not want to scare her and make it harder on her because she has to have the surgery regardless of whether or not she wants to, right? That's just the hard part of life. Our kids have to do things that they don't want to. We have to do things that we don't want to. And so, so I don't want to scare her because no matter how she feels about it, she has to have it done. However, she is a person who likes all of the information and likes to make informed decisions. But again, she doesn't get to make a decision here, right? Like, it's not her decision to make. She's a child. When I was a 10-year-old child, if I knew it was going to hurt, I would have said no thanks. I'm good. I'm good. I've been living for like this for 6 months. I can just keep on going on living. But we as adults know that the long-term ramifications of mouth breathing at night you know, are the cavities and the sleep apnea can cause heart issues, and so there's just like, I'm just having a little bit of a dilemma because I don't want her to not trust me in the future, but I also don't want to scare her. So I'm prayerfully considering what information to give and what information to be careful with. Maybe I'll just ask her if she has any questions, and if she asks if it's going to hurt, I'll tell her the truth. Oh, yes, Miss Stephanie. That is ideal. If we could just have the Lord touch her and have miraculous healing, that is ideal. Good morning, Miss Nani. And so we're hoping for. The Lord will just touch her body and we won't have to have surgery. And then I don't have to worry about telling her it's going to hurt. So, but I've been really big I'm teaching the kids about lying through omission, right? Like not volunteering information that you knew was pertinent, that you knew the person would want to know or need to know. So, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is in this situation. Thank you. Thank you, Nani. So, you're going to recognize some of the stuff, Miss Nani. Last night, my sweet friend called me over and said, hey, I'm purging my craft room. Come see. Come see what you want. And so, Miss Nani and I, you'll see her as Bonnie on there, but I call her Nani. That's her grandma name, is Nani. Good morning, Karen. She called me over, and I went over and got a bunch of craft supplies, and we just had a grand old time sitting and visiting and talking. I didn't even realize that I had been over there for 2 hours, and I went to come home, and then my phone started dinging because I don't get service over there at her house. My phone just started dinging, and I realized that my husband had been trying to get a hold of me. So he was like, where were you? What are you doing? She's over there visiting my sweet friend. Oh, good morning, Miss Denise. So, I wasn't in too much trouble, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. So I want you to know that Facebook likes to play a little game with me where I don't see all the comments. So if you put something and I'm looking and I'm not, you know, like seeing your comment or acknowledging it, it's because I just simply didn't see it. Facebook likes to kind of play a little raffle. Only certain people get shown. Like apparently sometimes I know that people aren't seeing mine. The good thing is she'll be asleep. If it does start to hurt, when she is awake, she gets lots of ice cream and Jell-O. You had it done when you were 4, but you remember, oh my gosh, do you remember it hurting, Erin? I just want to know. So Seth had it done when he was 14. Oh, Miss Bonnie. I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed the visit also. And he remembers all of the pain. I'm just going to give this one more little coat because I feel like it needs it. It didn't hurt, just like a sore throat. Okay, I've never had that done. Now, I had knee surgery when I was a teenager. Whew. That was a whole other beast because that was a long road of surgery, and the doctor kept prescribing me hydrocodone. And then I'd go to school and the teachers were like, why don't you have your schoolwork done? I'm like, because when I go home from here, I'm in so much pain. When I get home, I take a painkiller, and then I'm out for the rest of the night. Like, I was sleeping so much, and my teachers were like, well, you need to stop taking the painkillers. I was like, ma'am, I just had surgery. Good morning, Bell's Creative Studio. Cindy, good morning. Miss Lulu. So I was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. With the amount of pain I was in, and we did not have lockers, and so I had to carry around my books on crutches. And I have always been kind of clumsy, and so I used to fall all the time when I was in high school. I would just, every time I turned around, I was falling on my butt, I was falling all over the place. So, your mom just gave you Advil and cold things. Aw, people brought you gifts. That's so sweet. That's hilarious. Good morning, Miss Becca. Yes, I love this color, Diane. It is a great color. I love it so much. I'm gonna try to buy another bottle because this one is just, it's so thick, and I keep adding stuff to it, and it's just like a glob. It's a glob in there. All right, one more little dry on this, and then we'll move on to adding our images. So yeah, I mean, I would love to have an excuse to eat nothing but ice cream and popsicles for several days. Although right after Thanksgiving, y'all, I don't even want to wear jeans right now. I'm wearing sweats. I don't even want to wear jeans. It's cold outside. I'm bloated from too much pie and potatoes, and I can't stop eating gluten. Like, I went off of gluten for 75 days. I did a 75-day fast, and I did it off of gluten, like all grains and starches. No potatoes, no rice, no corn, no beans. I cut out seed oils, but even though gluten gives me a tummy ache, once you start eating it, your body's like, give me more. It's like, oh gosh, what's that movie with that Venus flytrap? Like, feed me, Seymour, you know? I don't even remember the name of that movie, but I watched it when I was a kid, and it terrified me, and it's just stayed with me forever. Oh gosh. So, all right, that's dry enough. All right, I've got a bunch of these little images. Look at how sweet that Santa is. I love his jolly cheeks. So I'm gonna go all over this with these, like, look at that. I mean, doesn't it just go right along with that little scene we've got going? We've got kids in a wagon. There was another one that I really like. It might be on here. I've got a whole other page here. If I don't fill it up with these, I will get, I've got all these kids. Look at that. So if I don't fill it up enough with that, I'm gonna break into that little deal right there and get, oh gosh. I'm glad this wanted to open for me this morning because my daughter's not here to open it for me. She stayed the night at her friend's house, which I hate doing. I hate doing sleepovers in December because in the month of December, before bed every night, we do our Advent reading and our Advent challenge, and then we do like a Christmas story, and it's just so much fun. I love it. These are like, it's the best time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Okay, so I'm just using my coffee podge. Again, that recipe is over on Miss Tracy's page, My Sweet Home Living. And then I'm just going to take my little, what do I want to do first? Let's see. Let's do a Santa. Let's do the Santa right here. I'm just pushing him down. And I really want to get these ridges. I like the ridges. I feel like they add to the look. And so I'm just pushing with my fingers, I'm just pushing the paper into those ridges. And if it tears a little, that's okay. Just push it right back in place and that glue will hold it down. A dog just came in here. But the dogs should all be locked up, so I don't know which dog it is. It means a child must be up, maybe. I'm going to go right back over the top of that, especially around the edges. Keep all that down. Oh, that's my PW. I can't get up and let you out right now, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. I don't know how you got out. How'd you get out of my Zuby's room? All right. So there's that one on there. Okay. I'm going to keep going around with this. And I just want you to take note of how that coffee podge is interacting with the chalk paint. This is what you want. It's giving it even more of that vintage look, and it really comes into play with the images that we are using. I'm going to go real sporadic with these images, just all over the place, no rhyme or reason. I don't want them to be uniform, is what I'm getting at on here. I want them to look just all over the place, kind of crazy. And I'm gonna put a good amount on here so I can do a couple. This go. Okay. Right, let me do my little kids, and I'm gonna turn them kind of to the side. Excuse me. Is this cold weather giving anyone else the boogies? Got some congestion going. I've got just not really a lot of congestion, but just a slight amount of congestion going on. Just a little bit. Not bad. Okay. Got those all pushed in. And I just love this. I am going to put the link to this Etsy shop, the Etsy shop or the Etsy file, whatever. The link to this, I'll put it in the comments when the live is over. What time is it? What time did I start? Okay, I've still got like 20 more minutes. We are doing good on time. Okay, I've got this little bird. Look at that. Let's see here. And on there, the images are all kind of overlapping. You know what would be really cool? If you had access to a vintage postcard, okay, that you were willing to sacrifice to a craft. This would be amazing because it's a fun way to display it and incorporate it in your tree. And it's something that can last, right? When the paper items like to really break down over time, So, now that I'm thinking about it, I will likely do, I have one more can. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll be doing a live again on these, on the last 10 that I saved for this. And I'm going to use some vintage newspaper, I think, because I do have some actual vintage newspaper that was in our attic in a suitcase that was left behind by a previous owner of this house. And I've just been saving it for just the right craft. Look at that. Okay. Let me go ahead, because this is still wet right here. I kind of want to add some cinnamon sprinkles while this is still wet. Okay. Just going to add that all around. I'm going to add a little You like that? Hello, Miss Cynthia. Miss Mary, good morning. How are you? What'd you say about your grandson? Let me see. Oh, Miss Jackie, what's going on with your grandson? I missed it. Aw, thank you, Mary. You've been using peppermint oil. Okay, nice. Sinus infection. 2 months. Oh, no. Yeah. Brain surgery. Oh, my goodness. Miss Jackie. That's a big deal. That is a big, big deal. I am praying for your grandson. That is scary. That is scary. But we are trusting the Lord for a good outcome, right? And an easy as it can be recovery from that. I can't imagine. I absolutely cannot imagine. All right. Get more of this going on here. So, Miss Bonnie, when I went over there last night, I don't know if she could see my eyes light up when she mentioned to me that in the bag of fabric there was little scraps of quilt scraps. Okay, so it's like a quilted blanket that somebody had cut up and, you know, had been crafting with. And so there was a ton of those quilt scraps. And these images really make me think of the movie A Christmas Story. You know, the little boy that wears the bunny pajamas and, you know, life's just not fair for him. He wants his BB gun. And everyone keeps telling him that he'll shoot his eye out, which, oh gosh, I just used 2 bad words. Oops. The movie, it's in a movie. That he'll do, like, he'll hurt his eyeball with his, not a toy, right? Because those are not a toy. They are tools. But anyways, these images remind me of that movie. And I got to thinking, okay, so I'm doing this 10, what am I going to do? On the other one, I did faux cookies, right? With the little, like, kind of like snickerdoodle cookies over here. Ooh, wrong way. There we go. Snickerdoodle cookies in there. Well, Miss Nani gave me scraps of quilt, so I'm so excited. We're going to do some fun little things because the quilt really reminds me of that time period and, you know, the puffy jackets those kids used to wear, and everyone had like a quilt on the couch, and the old wooden couches with the brown like velvety material with florals, the yellow florals on it. Those are the couches that my husband's grandparents had, not just his grandpa. His grandma too, she lived there. But it just really ties into that whole look. So we are going to use, for the top here, we're going to be using quilt, and I will show you how I do that here in just a second. Just try and get these last couple of images on here, and then we'll sprinkle it with cinnamon all around. I'll show you here. Okay. We're still doing good. Still doing good on time here. Go right over the tops of those. Make sure I have them down really well with my coffee podge here. Again, this is Miss Tracy's recipe, but I used the clear school glue because that's what I had on hand. So that's what I grabbed. I usually do that. I just use, no matter what I'm doing, I like to just use what I have on hand. I feel like you can do that with most things. Which is why I save so much stuff, because I have to have stuff to have on hand. Oh goodness. Reach in here, just going around. I'm not trying to get it like all over the images themselves, but I'm just trying to get it around the images. Just for a little bit of that primitive glitter. So this part right here still needs a little bit more of that podge, so I'm just going to give it a little bit right here so we can get more of that cinnamon going. I know. You can wait just a few more minutes to go outside. You'll be fine. He's not liking being patient, this dog. You'll survive it. All right. So that's my sides right now. I could probably fit another little something right here, maybe. I don't know. But I kind of like the way it is at the moment. We'll see if I decide later on, you know, after you look at something a few times, sometimes you're like, I really need to add. And so you go back and kind of make your adjustments. Look at this piece of fabric. Okay, so this is one side and that's the other. Doesn't that just scream vintage? Oh my gosh, I love it. It's all old and worn and I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so I have stuffed this. Just kidding. I've stuffed this with a few plastic bags, just bags from the grocery store. Nothing fancy in there because I'm not going to waste batting on a project like this. Like if it were something that somebody needed to like love on, then I would go ahead and use actual like cotton or polyfill or something. But I'm to the point now where I'm not the best at returning these plastic bags to the store for their little recycle bin. And so I really want to find as many ways as I can to use it. Okay. I want to get some
some of both designs. So I'm just kind of flipping it, but I kind of want that too. Oh gosh, we're gonna do what we can here to make it to where we get some of everything showing. Okay. Just kind of flip it and pinch it and twist it and twirl it, and then glue it down before it moves. Hot glue all on the inside. I'm concentrating. That's why I'm quiet.
Is it suspenseful? Can y'all? So I've just kind of twisted it around. You can still see the bags in there, so I'm not done gluing. But I just want to make sure that I have that polka dot showing also. So I'm flipping that part up, and I'm just gonna push it in this way. And then I think I'm going to twist it over on itself and kind of glue it down right here. Aw, thanks, Diane. So, how do you do the peppermint oil, Diane? We use something called, oh gosh, what is it called? We use a cough syrup by Gaia. It's Gaia. I get it on Amazon. And it's bronchial wellness syrup is the name of it. And it has peppermint, it has mullein, I believe it has thyme, I think it has passion flower, maybe some elderflower. I don't remember. I don't remember all of the ingredients, but it's got a ton of really good stuff in that. And it's magic. We've used it for several years now. And it's great for a cough. Unless you have issues like my daughter. It's always worked well for her. But now that she's got this situation going on, nothing is working for her really. So I want to see. I pulled these out this morning because I wanted to see if they would look good or if we needed to go a different route. Let's just look at it. Let's just look at it. Kind of want to put a border on here. What do you think? Pip berries. Okay, there's the pip berries. Then I also have just a few strips of fabric, and instead of the berries around there, what we could do, my goodness, look at this, look at all that. We could just do like a little rag bow. That might look better. What do y'all think? Oh gosh. That might look better, you think? I think so. Let's do hearts for ragbow and laughy face for the pip berries. Let me know what you want. Hearts for ragbow or laughy face for the pips. Let's see what you guys want. Come on. Real quick, I've only got a few minutes. You use all your natural stuff. Cough is worth, yes. For sure. For sure. Grungy goodness. Good morning. Laughy face for pip berries. Laughies. Everyone's laughing. Okay. The pips. All right, we're going with the pips. I like it. Let's do it. All right, going right around that. Just trying to measure it out and give it a little snip. My scissors here. Set that off to the side. I'm still a little bit wet though with that glue, so I'm just gonna dry a small spot right here. You're outvoted. Yeah. So, does anybody else do any branch sitters in their trees, or do you just do like hanging ornaments? I love the glass vintage hanging ornaments. I think those are so pretty. They are back in style. They are everywhere. I've been seeing them. I might have to pick up a few. I might have to pick up a few to add to my collection. I usually get at least one new ornament every year, and I've done this since I was first married. When we were first married, one of our family members gave us a small tree, and I think I got some ornaments from like my mom, and then some of the ornaments came from like yard sales and stuff. But I've always allowed, even when we had like no money, I've always allowed myself one new ornament a year. So I will definitely be getting my new ornament. Okay, let's just do this real quick. I posted the list, who's up next, and I don't remember who it is. I don't remember. It's going to be below zero here. Oh my goodness, Miss Jackie. Below zero. Yikes. My husband is a fan of cold weather. He's a bear. Like, his uncle's nickname was Bear. When people like see his hands, he's got like really big hands. They're like, man, you've got bear hands. And so you make all your grandkids ornaments every year. That's so sweet. You do branch sisters. Okay, cool, Miss Cynthia. Very cool. All right. So there we go. There we have it. This little guy is going to sit in there on my branches and just bring more joy to my tree. I'm going to tack it down a little bit right there. Y'all, be sure to head back to Craft Around the Clock. Somebody is on right now. So go say hello to my sister. Let her know that I sent you. Refresh, and y'all have a fantastic day. I will see y'all again soon. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for making a homemade home with me today. Bye, y'all.